guys ever go to Hemlock Overlook?
Yeah, I went.
In all the years that I went to Virginia Public Schools, I never once went there.
What?
Never.
How did
I have
Craig
never
go, but
been.
you didn't go? You
I
met in
have no
sixth grade,
idea.
didn't you?
Joe, how did...
I don't know. It must have been a year that we weren't in the same classes or something.
I don't know.
I don't know how that's possible, but
I think I went with some club.
yeah, I never
Oh,
never
okay.
I think we went on a band like leadership thing.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I never went somehow.
Yeah, went on that one today.
Oh yeah,
It's dope. No
I hear it's
wonder
a
you're
lot of fun.
tired.
Oh, I'm exhausted. Yeah, I did it when I was in sixth grade, like 20 years ago, and then did it last year as a teacher, and then this year as a teacher. This year's a little better than last year. But yeah, it's just fun, but it's frustrating because you just can't help them. I'm like, I know exactly how to solve this.
Right.
I still remember from 20 years ago, and I just can't say anything.
It's the same
Oh.
puzzles.
Now like coming through, and it's the same shit. The zip line's exactly the same. Like, so you mean it's been standing here for 20 years? It's like, oh, I probably shouldn't have told you that.
Yeah, right. But it's still cool. Promise, guys.
Yeah, and so I think they had a fun time. A couple kids surprised me because I just never thought they'd be that good, and just none of them play it. Nobody plays outside anymore. It's really sad. Like they're all like, they freak out about everything. I'm like, this is how I know you guys don't play outside. It's just so sheltered.
Yeah, I hate being like the back in my day, but it is pretty incredible when I think about like the places where you and I rode bikes, Craig, and like just the stuff that we did, and it's like, oh yeah, you'd never do that today.
It's insane.
Yeah,
Like they're like picking up rocks.
yeah,
And
right.
it's just like looking. I'm like, are you serious? Like you just never seen. We did the rock cycle like 2 weeks ago, and like we're just gonna like just pick up rocks and carry them around with us. I'm like, what are you doing? I just never just been like playing with rocks before. I was like, what?
What is this?
God damn it.
Like you're 10. Like that was like,
Dude, Will is just obsessed with being outside.
dude, that's how it should be. Like they're all like complaining.
Yesterday sucked assholes because it was raining all day.
Oh my god, I can't imagine.
With a toddler in a tiny ass apartment.
Oh, and he just
There's only so many damn times I can watch Moana, dude.
Dude, it's pretty sad, man.
Well, the link has been tweeted and we are live, so people will actually be able to hear us.
Here's talking about Moana. No, his latest is Lion King, so it loves him some original Lion King, which I'm down with.
I was gonna say that's pretty great. All things considered.
Man, when was the last time you actually heard that real music outside of like the main like nah, 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 nah? When's the last time you actually heard that stuff? Like Scar doing "Be Prepared," like that shit is balling.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that movie in years.
I haven't either.
It's so good.
Yeah,
it is. Oh my god.
So yeah, it was a indoor movie day, and then busted out the old school like orange tracks for Hot Wheels cars.
Nice.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, I love those.
Those some good.
So
memories
does Will.
right there.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, now this has been a perfect Marin Open, so we can get right into this episode of Nats Talk on the Go, where we're going to preview the Washington Nationals' visit to the World Series that starts tomorrow.
What?
Oh god.
Yeah.
God, it's actually tomorrow. It's actually happening.
It felt like when we like I think the last show was like about 4 days ago, and it felt so far away. And now, like looking at it being tomorrow, it's like, oh my god, this is about to actually happen. Crazy. But the Nats, against all odds, are going to the World Series.
I'm starting to see like the commercials and all the like just tuning into MLB Network and seeing them like warm up and stuff, and it's finally starting to hit.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so is it hitting for you too, Craig?
Yes, it's here, and the only reason I know it's here, and that it actually, outside of, the fact that it's tomorrow, but, I'm going to be on the news tomorrow, potentially. And I've been coordinating going to the watch party at Nats Park for tomorrow. So all of the planning and which games are you going to? That's kind of made it real. And when it's what are you doing tomorrow for the watch party?
Yeah, for me, it's just like I've benefited because you've been helping do all that work, and by helping I mean you've been doing all that work for me. So, but like for me, it's just like I know it's coming. I'm very excited, but it has not hit yet. Like it's like I'm looking at it, and I've been reading articles. I've been scrolling through Twitter. Like it's there, and I know it's about to happen, but it's just not there yet for me somehow. I don't know, but I think tomorrow morning when I wake up and realize that I am going to Nationals Park to watch Game 1 of the World Series on the Nats HD with some awesome people, it will hit me pretty good.
I think as soon as you walk in.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it'll be like when we walk into when I walk into the stadium.
The graphics, the field logo. Actually, they'll probably have the field covered because the weather's supposed to be absolute crap tomorrow.
Yeah. The thing I'm most excited about is actually being able to pick up my World Series fitted tomorrow at the ballpark.
Ooh.
That's a
good idea.
Like I was going to order it online, and then when I found out we were going, I was like, nope, just going to get it from the store.
Oh, no, wait. I'm going to wait on it. Dude, this is my superstitious thing again. I told my buddy, I was like, have you bought gear yet? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know if I can yet.
Really?
Because I haven't bought anything. I didn't buy, anything else so far. So I'm just like, I think I got to wait.
Okay, so here's my gear philosophy. Here's my personal gear mantra for the playoffs. So I will only buy gear based on the next level that the Nationals have won. So in 2012, when they won the division, got the shirt. Division championships, whatever. Since then, have not bought a single other gear because we had already won the East, so I don't need another shirt. Was waiting for something else that they've won. So the second they won NL champs, got that shirt, and then obviously World Series. If we were to win that, I would get more gear. But that's my personal philosophy. It's get one of everything along the road for the first one.
I like that.
I like that a lot, and that's kind of how I started. But the idea of buying a legitimate Nationals cap with a World Series logo on the side, I'm buying the fuck out of that. I don't even care. I can't not own that.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I can't. It's just that's impossible for me. So the Nationals, obviously, we all know now, are going to be playing the 107 win best in Major League Baseball Houston Astros. I think there's a lot of conversations about what the Astros have done all year. They've had an incredible season. They're really good, and I know that we all have kind of a lot of thoughts on that. But I think there's something to be said for the fact that the Nats division was a lot harder than the Astros division was. I mean, yeah, Oakland had a kind of a surprising good year, but there wasn't really much in the AL West below those two teams, whereas the Nats were. Or the NL East was pretty stacked, those top four teams for most of the year.
Same could be said about the Dodgers, really.
Yeah, exactly, right? And
so they just kind of did what they were supposed to do with a team that's stacked against the division that week.
And what the Nats have tried to do in previous seasons where they've run away with the division and then have struggled to, finish things out. So I know it's jumping ahead a little bit, but I did want to mention kind of about the records because of that record, lots of stories out there in social media and news stories and everywhere else about the level of favorite that the Astros are in this series.
Yeah, the odds I saw from 538 had the Astros as 60-40 to win the series. I wouldn't have it that aggressive, and only because I think I saw Zuckerman tweeted something today that said the Nationals have the best record in all of baseball since May 24th. The Astros just have the best record since the beginning of the season. So they're both pretty comparable when you actually take out that first 6-7 weeks of the season. The Nationals are right there with the Astros as the best team in baseball.
Yeah, I think that we've seen that, right? We've seen that through the postseason. Sweeping the Cardinals, the way that the starting pitching has gone, the Nationals are clicking, but the Astros are too, right? Like it's hard to say anything but the fact that the Astros are certainly playing excellent baseball right now. But I think I agree, Craig. I think it's a lot more even than I think a lot of news sources and odds makers are giving at this point.
And the great thing is, the Nationals love to be underdogs right now. It's played really well in the clubhouse. There's been kind of a motivating, driving force that, no one believed in us, which you see a lot of the time. But, the team's played playoff baseball essentially since May 24th, if you want to really look at it. They've really had to fight and scrap every single game to try and even get to the wild card game. So they're used to the pressure. They're used to being ruled out and not expected to really do this. I mean, how many people had the Nationals beating the Dodgers? Not many outside of this town. So I think the underdog mentality really works for them. And I think the Nationals are probably in the exact position they want to be in.
Yeah, I agree. What do you have, Yo?
I completely agree that I love that they're in this underdog spot right now because there's zero expectation for them to win. Even though you ask any of them, I think during their interviews, they were all saying it's like, who's more confident than us right now? And that's the way they should be thinking. And that's the way they're allowed to think. But for us, it's like, why not? Right? Like I think the hard part about doing the show is I have to think about them this way, but like they are legit. They are solid. And it gives me that sneaking like hope, like, oh my God, they could actually do this, because they haven't clicked like this until they're clicking at the right time. And like, you see this a lot with teams that end up winning the whole thing, is they click at the right time. They finally get past a little hurdle, and like, be it the wild card, if they finally win that game or something, and just go. Like, how many wild card teams have we seen win since it's got instituted? And they're playing their best baseball right now. They're solid, top to bottom, and like the bullpen guys we need to do, like we need to do work, are doing work. And like Houston has kind of went through the same way. They had to beat Tampa Bay, like a team that's just off a good win, and then kind of took apart a Yankees team that seemed solid at first, but as I was watching that series, didn't seem as solid. Definitely not as solid as the Astros. But I'm like trying to think about, what if we were playing the Yankees? Like, the Astros have a lot of similar guys to the Nats right now, and I'm just thinking, like, why not, right? Why not us?
Yeah. I agree. Just for the record, I agree that as it went on, I was like, God, I hope the Yankees can find a way to pull this out, because they just didn't look that good. Like their pitching wasn't all that great. Like their big bats weren't really acting as big bats most of the time. Like I was like, oh, this team feels pretty beatable. Like, not that I thought that we could have run away with it or anything, but they seemed beatable.
I mean, it made me feel better thinking about trying to play them than the Astros. That's for sure.
Damn right.
Because damn.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah, it's what was the quote I mentioned either off the show or on the show? I don't even remember. But after the divisional series, someone asked, I think it was Garrett Cole and another Astro, "Hey, are you happy the Dodgers are out of it?" And they were like, "No. Did you see the Nationals?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like we haven't allowed ourselves to think like that. Like, no, this is just not happening. Like this is kind of like coming out of nowhere. But then like as they keep playing, they like the way they're doing it. It's like, no, this is how they've been playing. They're just happening to do it at the highest level in the biggest stage against the best teams. And oh man, I'm really hoping that can continue, because if they give the Astros a fight like they can, like this is gonna be a really good series regardless.
Yeah, I agree entirely. And the way that the Nats have been playing, you have to be at least some level of optimistic. The Astros, though, in that series looked just incredible.
Yeah. I mean, from top to bottom, like I don't think there's a hole in their lineup.
Well, I don't think there's a hole either, but it still took extra innings of 6 games for them to get past a beaten and broken and injured Yankees team. I mean,
some of that was their bullpen,
they were
right?
Well, yeah, but they were a hit away from having to play Game 7.
Right. That's true.
So, I mean, they do match up well, but you got to figure all the pieces aren't going to be moving or aren't going to be in full swing at all times for them. All the players, like you're going to have, Altuve might slump, or Correa's outside of a couple big hits not been great. He's been moved down in the lineup, so anything can happen. And with the Nationals pitching staff, you can't really rely too much on your bats.
Well, that's going to be the interesting part when you look at the first 3 games and the starting pitching matchup in those first 3 games. It's I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I feel like the Nats have an advantage, but it's not a huge margin. I mean, that staff is insanely good, especially starting with Garrett Cole. I mean, he's had talk about a year.
I mean, I like how they stack up too. I'm just really hoping that they can continue, and like that's kind of the same way I was feeling going into the Cards. Like, hopefully they didn't spend it on the Dodgers, but hopefully they didn't spend all their. Like, honestly, if they can come out and just like pitch like half as well as they did last time, like we're in like a good position. Seriously, like I think they'll hit enough to like be like close games.
Yeah, which kind of brings me real quick to, the thing that I believe I sent both of you a couple days ago. I'm kind of at a place right now, like the quote is from everyone's favorite @Bog commenter. Maybe the Astros should be favorite in the World Series, but we're about to see them pitch their 5th pitcher of the game because they didn't have 4 starters, and their 3rd starter hasn't had a good game yet, and that's Zach Greinke. So as of right now, they're looking at Cole and Verlander, who are both 2 of the best in baseball right now, and then Greinke, who has been not very good this postseason or even most of this year, and then a bullpen game for Game 4. So you pit that up against Scherzer and Strasburg, and then you've got Sanchez and Corbin, who have both been really lights out. At Corbin at times, he had a phenomenal 4 innings, but then he got gassed against the Cardinals. And then Anibal Sanchez, who we all know what he did last Friday night, 10 days ago. So you're looking at, Anibal Sanchez against a bullpen game, potentially.
Yeah, and that obviously plays to a huge advantage for the Nats if that ends up the way that it looks. And you're right, like Greinke has not been very good at all. And even in his last start, he came around, but for a while, Verlander did not look good at all. I mean, he really struggled in that, was it Game 5, where he came out and gave up some runs early, and just he was bouncing pitches, and his breaking stuff just looked like it didn't really have anything at all. So as opposed to Nat starters who really didn't show much of that. I mean, Corbin is the closest, and he still put in a pretty good start.
Had 10 strikeouts in 4 innings.
Yeah, exactly, in 12 over 5 or whatever it was. It was a bit of a different experience.
I mean, even his first outing was not bad either. They just got shut out, so it kind of like makes his first start look worse.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I like the matchup. I think the Astros are far and away the best team in the AL, and they deserve to be here. Whereas I'm not sure the Nationals were the best team in the NL, but they're the best team of the last month, and that's what it all comes down to.
Yeah, I think
like you said.
Go ahead.
Yeah, last couple months. So yeah, like you said, and then now they're really, really clicking. Just wondering about Trey and Eaton, and hoping our meat stays the meat.
Yeah. So speaking of, the big thing that people have been talking about with the Nats specifically is, the amount of off time, and a lot of people are really worried about that. And I'm wondering what you guys think about what the impact that's going to be after. Like you both have said, the team has clicked incredibly for the last month, especially, and then really for the last few months. So this, 5 days off or 6 days off, whatever. Is it a week? Oh God, is it a week?
6 days.
6 days.
Oh my gosh,
Just
it is
short.
6 days, isn't it? So with having
It's because the Nats swept the Cardinals in the NLCS.
right, exactly,
to win the National League pennant.
fairly
Just
convincingly.
FYI.
Just ruminating that for a second, but with all the time off, where do you think the advantages and disadvantages play for this team going to play an extremely good Houston team in Houston?
Greg, you want to go first?
No.
All right. I was gonna get. All right. I think it benefits the Nats in terms of pitching, especially for our 4 starters, obviously, but Doolittle and Hudson, because they threw a decent amount. They could have thrown more if obviously that series went longer, but we need them to be as fresh as possible and ready to go every single game, because we're not winning without them. So I think that it benefits us pitching wise, but I really hope what was going on these last couple of days was like they have to be doing like live matchups, right? They gotta have like Scherzer out there throwing against like Anthony Rendon.
I'm sure they probably brought in some people to hit.
Yeah, I actually saw there was a bat where it was like Fernando Rodney was facing like Soto or something. Like they are doing some of that live matchup stuff.
I mean, they got to do something close because obviously there's nothing like a game. But the way, I don't know, they've just been a different team from beginning to end of the postseason than they have before, where they did lose it. They that couple days did kill them, but like I feel like they've also been hitting this way for the last couple months. So it's like they're grinding out bats. It's not like really homer or nothing. Like I think that last series really illustrated that. And if they're going to do that, if they're going to focus on just getting base hits and singles, like I feel like it's going to be easy for them to kind of just jump back in and just attack good pitching. So and the other thing I forgot to mention was I'm really hoping that whatever's going on with Eaton got resolved in these past 6 days.
Yeah.
I feel like there's definitely an injury going on because he just all of a sudden stopped hitting, and he was like on a tear in September and just like stopped, and then he started bunting all the time. I'm like, dude, there's got to be something up with this guy.
Yeah, it's entirely possible that he is a little banged up. I'm sure a lot of the guys are by this point of the year. I mean, playing 175 games to this point.
Yeah, but you would never know from our 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters.
Yeah,
like Eaton is one where I was like really.
Soto hasn't had a phenomenal playoffs really at all.
But I will say I still think it's because he's getting pitched the toughest, but he still had good at bats. He still had good swings.
I agree. He definitely has. Eaton's definitely looked.
Eaton has looked completely lost sometimes. So there's got to be something nagging him that I hope got resolved in these 6 days. But everybody else just, I think this is another thing is that they're all finally healthy for a postseason run. This is like one of the first times we've ever had like the majority of the team healthy.
That's a really good point, and not missing a cornerstone pitcher or your 3 or 4 hitter or like something crazy like that. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. No, it's nice to have the 6 days off, line up the rotation, how you want to make sure that you've got 2 games where your bullpen is as rested as possible and as fresh as possible. You're, make sure you're getting your hacks in, make sure you're well rested. They got in, this morning they arrived in Houston. I wasn't sure if they'd try and get in a day or 2 earlier than that, just to kind of acclimate, get used to everything and just, really get their sights set on it. But it really gave them the luxury of, the Astros played a game 2 nights ago, or was it? Yeah, 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
And so they're still probably coming down from their celebration and all that kind of stuff, whereas the Nationals have had a nice long recovery period. But going back to the actual lineup of how things look for the first 2 games in Houston, I agree with what you said. I really like that if you're going to have to start on the road, games 1 and 2, you have your 2 best starters going.
Yeah.
So that's a huge benefit that you can kind of, I don't want to say temper expectations, but you can kind of play up a level because you've got your 2 best guys on the hill. Well, and I think the players are going to be absolutely up for that.
Yeah, you got to believe that there's some group of people recording a show in Houston talking about this exact thing and about Scherzer and Strauss coming in and their reasonable and legitimate fear of that, right? Like that, those guys have only been 2 of the best starting pitchers in Major League Baseball this year. I mean, Strasburg especially, and then Scherzer has been his bulldoggy self over the last couple of appearances, but. You have to imagine that people in Houston can't feel comfortable about what they're about to experience for the first 2 days at home. Yeah, you've got Cole and Verlander going, but I mean they're facing some pretty decent competition.
Yeah, the starting pitching matchups are just absolutely insane. I saw a tweet earlier that was comparing the 2019 top 6 pitchers to, I want to say, the 2001 top 6 pitchers, year WAR and like career WAR, and it was something like this year the top 6 combined for I think 42-ish WAR, and in 2001 where you've got Curt Schilling, Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, among others, were 39. This year, the career WAR was around 299, whereas in 2001 it was 330. So, like, some just all-time legendary pitching matchups in a single series.
Well, and a lot of those guys in 2001 were towards the end of their careers. So,
yes.
that 330 makes a whole lot of sense, right?
Compilers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
I think we can all agree that we feel way better with Max going game 1 than we did with Anibal before he did what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, I remember when we were getting into that series, we were just talking, okay, you got 2 in St. Louis, let's try and steal 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, definitely.
Like, that was the whole goal.
And you thought it was going to be
hopefully Anibal. Yeah, hopefully Anibal can give you five innings of 2 or 3 run ball and keep you in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead.
Yeah.
How silly were we?
Yeah.
Like, you silly idiots.
Keep being silly.
How dare you underestimate me?
He will never have to buy a drink in DC again.
Oh my God. Yes.
As it should be.
So, yeah, I really like how things are shaping up. I think the Astros, as an organization, they're just so savvy. You saw it with some stuff, I want to say in the Rays series with like sign stealing and pitch tipping and all that kind of stuff. So they're really on top of it. They really know what to look for and do anything they can to get the edge. So I think the Nationals really need to be on their toes because the Astros are going to not stop at anything to try and get even a 1% more advantage than they had.
Yeah, I've always liked the Astros are probably my favorite AL team for a bunch of different reasons, but mostly because they're a lot like the Nats and kind of built like the Nats. They were kind of bad at the same time, and they started coming up at the same time, and then they just got there a little faster. And then we share a spring training facility. I like pretty much every single player on that team. They're a good bunch, and they're like just play really good baseball. So it's like, what's not to like, right? But I think it's awesome that we get to play against them instead of the Yankees. Just because like the Yankees are just gonna be one big headache. Yes, it would have been cool to beat them, but like, yeah, I feel like that series would have just been like awful for everybody, like at all times, just like in the stadium, in the broadcast, like everything.
It would have been about the Yankees and their history instead of the matchup.
Yep,
totally.
Instead of like the Nats finally doing something for the first time.
Yeah,
and yeah, so I like the Astros. I feel like they're very close to an even matchup. They're built a lot the same way, and I like a lot of their players. So like, I'm so excited about this series, and I just honestly like really hope the Nats just win like one game. if it's gonna go like that, like I just hope they win.
Well, I want to get to that because I kind of have similar thoughts, Yo. So I want to get to that I want to get to that a little bit later. But like, and you were kind of alluding to the fact that like the team, the Nats have been great, but like before we started broadcasting, you were talking about like you were looking at like the position matchups for the Astros and the Nats. And so while you guys were talking, I just pulled up on Fangraphs. I pulled up the top 5 WAR guys for the season for the Nats and the Astros. And so the Nats top 5 WAR guys.
Can I guess them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's guess.
So yeah, Nats top 5 WAR.
This includes pitching.
No, just position players. Just position players.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Shit. Was not expecting that. Okay.
Well,
Rendon, obviously. Yep. Number 1, I think Soto in there.
Soto's 2.
I think Robles is going to be in there for defense, depending on where you're looking.
Robles is 5.
Yep. Trey.
Trey is 3.
Okay. It can't be Howie.
It's Howie.
Wow.
What?
Yep. Rendon's a
Damn.
7-win player. Soto 4.8. Turner 3.5. Howie 2.9. And Robles 2.5.
Can I just
Dude, how many
real
games did
quick?
Howie miss?
Yeah, Howie played in 121 games.
Yeah,
Oh my
freak.
And
God.
for the record, Turner, just above him, played in 122. One more game.
Yep.
Oh, true, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, Turner started the year on a goddamn tear.
but
Like, even though it was 3 or 4 games before he got hurt, he was like hitting 450 with 2 or 3 bombs and 5 steals in like 3 games. He was a fucking beast, and then he got hurt. Anyway, can I please get some credit for rattling that off without missing one?
that was pretty impressive.
That was good.
For the record, though, Turner had 569 plate appearances. Howie had 370.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Are you serious?
yes, literally
Howard Diegos Kendrick.
almost half as many plate appearances.
Holy shit.
He hit 344 on the year, guys.
Yeah, that's yeah. I knew.
Oh,
Oh my God.
crazy. So, for the
All right.
record, that's 20.7 wins on the season. Pretty good from your top 5 guys.
Yeah, you'll take it.
But on the, are we guessing on the Astros side, or you guys just want them?
Why not make a guess?
Yes.
Altuve's there.
Altuve's 5.
Whoa.
Yep.
Bregman's there.
Wow.
Bregman is 1.
Bregman's that's good one. Yeah.
Bregman's definitely one.
Is Korea?
Correa's not top 5.
No.
Has to be Springer.
Springer?
Yep. Springer's 2.
Oh, Brantley.
Brantley 3.
Yep. God, what a career. What a comeback
Dude,
he's had.
Brantley, man. Yeah, seriously, Brantley.
This one's gonna blow your mind. 4 is gonna blow your mind.
Is it Yuli?
Okay.
No.
It's not Yuli.
Who is it?
Jordan Alvarez in 87 games.
Jesus.
Oh my! He was one DHing for them the other
Yeah,
night.
87
Yeah.
games, 369 plate appearances,
Yeah, I wouldn't
3.8
have got nice.
wins above
Wouldn't have
replacement.
gotten that one.
Nope, definitely would not have gotten that one.
What did they combine for?
26.5.
Whoo!
Yeah. So they best the Nats. The top 5 best the Nats by almost 6
damn.
wins.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That one's a Benz player.
So when you were talking about that, I was like, all right, I gotta look up some numbers and kind of see it for
Yeah.
myself, you don't get a guy. So in order to find a guy who has a WAR below the Nats number 5 guy Robles, you've got to go to 8 on their team.
Yeah, they're pretty good at baseball.
They're just stacked. I mean, their top 8 guys are 2.3 wins and better players. Like
What was the number on Bregman?
8.5 wins.
Yeah.
Oh, so he is. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I thought we
Bregman's
had third in the bag.
legit.
No, Bregman is legit a better player.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Third was our only
Goodness.
hope. Rendon was our only hope there.
Yeah. But
Wah, wah.
no. It's so it's and the whole point of this obviously wasn't to be like, well, everything is horrible, because that's not the way that the playoffs
No.
work. But like
Mine is. It's only 7 games. It's not a whole
Well,
season. It's 7 games.
exactly.
The Nats have shown they're greater than their sum of their parts.
All year
Yeah,
long they
and you
have,
got-
right?
Yeah, you still got to take into account that everybody sucked those first 2 months.
Yup.
Well, and you also have to take into account the pitching, right? Like, let's not just blow
Yeah.
past the part that the Nationals' pitching has been absolutely unbelievable. Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander have been great. They're 7.4 and 6.4 wins, respectively. But then it's a steep drop off. It goes all the way down to 2 wins, whereas the Nats have Scherzer at 6.5 wins, Strasburg at 5.7 wins, Corbin at 4.8, Sanchez at 2.5. So the top 4 WAR players for the Nats are all better than the 3rd pitcher by WAR, who's Wade Miley and is not even pitching in this series. So the pitching kind of, I think, in a lot of ways balances out kind of what we're looking at here.
Yeah, the lineup.
Um,
The one thing I did see is that I judge a lot based on average, but Springer and Correa are they're batting like 150 each during the postseason.
Yep.
So that's like
Yep,
huge
Chris
if
had
like
a
they're
couple
gonna be,
big hits,
yeah.
but that's it.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Eden.
Yeah, right.
So we talked about this a little bit on Twitter, but I don't think we mentioned it on the podcast, any of us. DH, then for some reason it's 2019 and the National League and the American League have different rules. So when you're in an American League ballpark, your pitcher doesn't hit. Whereas when you're in a National League ballpark, your pitcher is going to hit, which don't even get me started. But what do you guys think? I think we're all in agreement here. But what do you guys think about who the Nationals will use as DH and who will be in their place in the field?
Howie Kendrick, Brian Dozier. that is the.
Yeah.
I feel like there is. I'm willing to entertain other ideas, but I don't know if I can believe that any of them are valid.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. My poll was, I think it was my most successful poll too. 819 votes.
Oh my God.
66% Howie Kendrick. Yeah, 66% Howie Kendrick, and I think we're all on the same page.
Who
I
was
think the only
two, do you know?
discrepancy, Matt Adams,
Yeah.
22%. And I think the only like thing, so some people are arguing between Dozier and ASCAB,
Oh, yeah.
but
Okay.
I think I know we had just Dozier is just a better fielder.
Yeah, I mean, if the whole point is to have a better defensive fielder out there, it's Dozier, right? Like
Yeah.
and I don't know if the advantage is like if you're going to do ASCAB, I almost would go with the idea of putting Adams at DH and then just putting Howie in the field. I don't know how much better that ASCAB would be over Howie at second base. You know,
I
I
wonder.
think he would be so much worse because ASCAB cannot move.
Yeah,
anymore.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, right? Like
I think the argument being made was like he's a better hitter than Dozier.
oh, he definitely is.
Yeah, I think that's the only argument really being made there. And I was like, I can see it, but
But I,
Well, he's
Yeah.
also not really hit. He's not really played much this postseason.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I'd
That's the
rather
other thing.
have that bat as a bench bat than Dozier.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially switch.
Agreed.
You know, like
Yeah.
it just
Definitely.
that makes sense to me.
You want your best defense out there, and then you want your best pinch hitting option as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Yeah.
you got Parra, you've got Adams, and you've got Cabrera, and that's some pretty good pitch hitting situation.
What do you
Yeah.
think? And I completely agree. Obviously, what do you think about Michael A. Taylor as DH, keeping Kendrick at second?
Yo,
I mean, if you use him as like it's like almost
That's like an 8 or a 9,
have
like
to be a 9.
second
Right?
leadoff hitter.
Yeah, I mean,
You got
yeah,
that playoff
kinda
knack.
like it. Yeah, and you just keep out. Yeah. I didn't think about that one before.
I mean, Howie's defense is what it is, and he's had a rough postseason in the
Yeah.
field for sure. But he didn't have a rough regular season in the field, really. So,
Yeah, true.
so you have to hope that those are just a couple little mental errors that you can just forgive and say they're behind you. But I mean, you've also got Michael A. Taylor, who has been the Nationals' offensive hero several times already this postseason.
Did Howie make any errors in the NLCS?
I was just thinking about exactly that, and I can't get the information fast enough because I was thinking the exact same thing.
I don't know if he
I
did.
don't know if he did either.
And
I'm
maybe
not sure he did either.
the thing I'm thinking is that he definitely knows he's going to be at second base.
Yeah,
I think
Right.
that might have been.
He's not
that
a
might have
first
been
baseman.
messing with him. That might have been messing with him during the DS. Like, I don't know where I'm going to play today.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm doing first today, and then I'm doing second today. So it's like he wasn't like he's kind of in between instead of like, I'm playing second base this series.
right.
Yeah, I'm glad
Uh,
Davey's not fucking around with first anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like
smart.
It's Zimmerman.
Well,
It's got to be Zimmerman.
It helps that Ryan
God,
is
I
hitting the
cannot
ball like
wait to see Zim.
yeah.
I can't wait to see him launch one of the Crawford boxes.
Oh god.
oh my god.
God, hit one on the train tracks, please.
But yeah, some people might shrug that off and be like, it doesn't matter, just play your position. But like, if you're more comfortable, you're going to play better. If you know where you're going to be playing the next day and you can just focus on that, it's just so much easier to execute at a high level. So like, I feel like that was a big thing, and it's going to be the same way. So he knows he's going to be playing second base or DHing. So I do like that. Damn, Matt, that'd be kind of nice.
I never thought about it, but it's a good. I like the idea.
Because I'd rather him hit than Dozier.
Me too, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so like I
so-
think, dude, I like that, Craig. I don't know if Davey would do it, but
I don't
I like
think
that
it's going to
idea.
happen, but I think the potential is there.
yeah, it has to
I-
be hopefully a possibility in his head.
I would hope so as well. Also, a reason for that not to happen as well, and to stick with the whole Howie going in there. I really like Matt being available for
Defense.
late inning defensive replacement.
Yeah,
True.
That was my other point.
Which,
And just to verify,
again,
Howie
Davey's
had
been
no.
doing this postseason.
Sorry, go ahead.
Which Davey's been doing this postseason, which makes me so happy.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And Kendrick had no errors in the CS.
Dude, I think
There you go.
it's gotta be something's gotta be said about that. Like, he's just comfortable. He got comfortable, and he's like, all right. Now I can play this.
Yeah,
I know I'm gonna play
it's a
it.
great point. It's a great point. Yeah, it'll.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun to see. But I mean, you got some options there, and I mean, just real quick, I hate that there's two different rules, because I mean, the Astros are designed to have a DH.
Right.
The Nationals are not designed to have a DH.
Well,
Their roster is not built to have. And I know the DH has gone through some iterations and some changes where it's a lot more of a flex through a few different players over the course of the season. But still, you can have a player that's worse defensively and stick him at DH and still get the bad out of it. Whereas the Nationals really need to keep players that are good in the field.
Where, speaking of, doesn't it seem like Jose Martinez from the Cardinals series is destined for that role the second that his rookie contract
God.
ends?
Hell yes.
Like
Hell yeah.
he is a player built for the American League. But I agree with.
I guarantee you he's been through first base too. Before he went to the corner outfield, he was definitely at first base, and he probably didn't hack it there.
First base is hard. I mean,
It
just
is.
ask from the movie Moneyball.
Yeah, it is hard. Thanks, Chris
I
Pratt.
teach it. It's hard.
But
Scott Hatteberg.
yeah, but there's I think there's something to be said. I completely agree with you, Craig. I know we've beat this point down on this podcast previously, and I've beaten it down on Twitter and everything else. But the National League team, whoever it is at such a disadvantage in this series because of exactly that. It is a massive disadvantage to not have someone. Just when you think about when even interleague games where it would be like in previous years, like, well, I guess Jason Worth is the guy, but like it's hard for guys to get going. They're used to running out onto the field and coming back in. There's nobody who does that role day in and day out. Whereas
Pinch hitting is hard.
it's really hard. That's why a lot of guys are very bad at it.
Dude, they have basically one extra position that gets 500 at bats.
Right.
500. Like, they get a whole another season of at bats in one position that the National League doesn't get.
Yeah, it's a huge disadvantage for the.
Yeah, and that's my argument when, I mean, I don't want to get into the whole thing, but that's my argument when anyone says, oh, well, you can't get rid of the DH, blah, 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 or you can't bring the DH to the National League. I'm like, the competitive balance isn't there.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you've got a team that's better offensively because of how their lineup is constructed for 162 games, then that's not fair. It sounds like sour grapes saying that's not fair, but it really is not. So
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to keep that going.
And I find it kind of amazing that we're on this show talking about it because it's a situation that's impacting our team. Just putting that out there.
And it's not just for the Beltway series.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
This isn't for some random middle of the season interleague series play. Like, this is
Battle of the Beltway.
This is because there's a best of 7 World Series that's about to happen, and the Nationals are going to be in it.
For all the marbles.
That's right.
For everything.
Yeah.
For the ugliest trophy in sports.
But that's baseball.
Oh man.
Well, there's obviously a lot to talk about. I know that last time we said that we were going to talk about fandom a little bit. Do we want to get into that? Or
We can.
Or do we want to blow past
I
it?
don't think we need to get too much into it.
Okay.
But we can touch on it a little bit for sure. I think the fandom talk has died down a little bit.
That's why I wasn't sure if we wanted to talk about it. Yeah, so I agree. Yeah.
But I think it still should be mentioned that, however, whenever you decided to be a Nats fan, whether it was yesterday or that hero in the viral video who said, just today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whether you're that person or whether you've been following since the team got announced in late 2004, like the three of us have, like, welcome aboard. Like, we want you here. We will teach you what you need to know. We'll teach you about John Lannon. We'll teach you about Nitkowski. We'll teach you about
Levo.
Brandon Watson. We'll teach you about Levo and the Chief and Brian Schneider and the time our Double-A minor league coach got pulled mid-inning and the manager cried about it. Like, we'll teach you all of this stuff. But if you're going to take your time and get into baseball now, like, and you want to follow the Nationals, everyone I've seen and that I interact with has been nothing but kind and welcoming. So I think the Nationals as a fan base as a whole are pretty good with that. So be a fan however you damn want to be.
I can't disagree with a single word you just said, so I'm not going to add anything.
I will say that I feel like there needs to be, I kind of mentioned it before, like, it's just, I kind of feel bad for those type of people, not because like they're doing anything wrong, but like the way we're feeling right now is just absolutely amplified by every year that we've been following this team, before all the heartbreak, all the struggles, all the shitty times that we've had with this team is the reason why we don't believe that this is real.
Yeah.
And like this run, regardless of what happens in the World Series, is going to stick with us for the rest of our lives. Sometimes those people that just jump on at the end, just like, this is just something that happens in their life for like a week, and then they don't really revisit it again. And that's kind of why it sometimes irks me, but it doesn't. I mean, you can do whatever you want. Like, if you want to follow this team now, awesome. Like, just be nice to everybody and you're good. But that's the way I grew up in fandom. It's like, sometimes it's more than just sports, right? It's the reason why we follow it so obsessively. It's not just because it's just a sport. It's not just a game to us. It's something that we grew up with, that we share connections with other people with. And like, think about our relationship. Like, the only reason why we know each other is because we like the Nats and because we have Twitter accounts.
Right.
Like,
yep.
Like, there's no other reason why we would know each other. But because we are obsessed with this team enough to just follow them and live tweet them every night, we like made a friendship, and now we're doing this on the eve of World Series.
My God, I'm gonna cry.
Seriously, like that's what fandom is to me. It's like,
yeah,
it's way deeper than just, oh, this team's doing really well right now. Like, why don't I just watch these games now? It is, you live and die by this team, and like it you try not to let it show in the rest of your life, but I mean, can you guys tell me you haven't been thinking about anything else other than this for the past like 6 days?
Nope.
It's been a struggle.
Yeah.
I was out all day on Saturday, and I was on my phone the entire time. I'm like, I feel bad, but like, I can't even think about anything else right now.
I literally gave a pint of my own blood today so that I could maybe get tickets to a game. Like,
exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, like, so cool, jump on the bandwagon now, but like, this is what quote unquote real fans are doing. Like, you are trying your damnedest. You are giving blood away just to be able to say you want, like, be at a World Series game.
Yeah.
And like, that's the part I feel bad, is people like you guys, like, or anybody that's been following this team forever that doesn't have access to tickets. A lot of these people are like, oh, cool, let me just spend $600 in a game real quick because it seems fun. They're taking the ticket that belongs to somebody that probably deserves it way more than they do, just because they feel like they want to be a part of this now. That's the part that like kind of kills me, is like, there's so many people I know on Twitter that don't have a ticket, and I know that there's so many people that are just going because it's like, oh, it's like a big thing that's happening in DC, so I want to be there, so I'll shell out whatever.
Well, it's a social event. It's not a sporting event. It's a social event, right? Like, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I get that part.
That's what kills me. Like, that's what it's like. Especially like people seeing people in the suites. It's like, yeah, cool, I'm gonna spend $5,000 to be at this event and not care about the game at all. And like, meanwhile, there's like other people. I mean, not in a suite, but like other people.
I want to go. Hey, you were in a suite for the clincher.
I was. Which I still, that has not sunk in.
People in glass houses.
Yeah, that's right.
It was.
I mean,
I wish I was in nosebleeds for that game. I wish
I
I
wish
was.
I
I
could.
wish I was at the
I wish.
stadium for that game.
I wish I could give more blood to be guaranteed a ticket, but
Yeah.
like because I would do
Yeah.
it. As a friend of ours at the Natadude said, "You've already given your blood or your sweat and your tears. You might as well give your blood as well."
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. Might as well.
Well, and
What was it? Blood ticket? Hashtag blood ticket.
nice.
Hashtag
blood ticket. I
ticket.
love it. Well, Craig, you and I were talking about this via text earlier this week, and I'll say this for
It's Monday, Joe.
okay. So within the last week, I don't know what day it is. I don't know what's happening.
That's the thing. That's what we're saying.
Exactly.
Our minds have been consumed. It's been one long day before the World Series.
Totally. And like for me, when I look at what DC Sports has done over the last few years, it's been great with the Caps and then the Mystics, and it's been fun to experience that. But what baseball has meant to me over the course of my life, and especially over the course of the last 15 years, and then the time since that Craig, you and I have been doing the show for 9 years off and on.
Christ.
I know, right? But
we're sorry.
I know we're sorry. It's partially their fault. They listened, so
that's true.
But for me, I would give up a lot to have the experience of my team winning a World Series. I would give up many future titles for many other sporting teams that I care a lot for this. Baseball is a special thing for me, and being able to follow this team and meet the people that I met via this team, including my fiance,
hey!
It is, and it's all because of this team and this fan experience and being part of this group of Nats fans. And there wouldn't be a lot that I wouldn't do to try to ensure a World Series in DC in a year that I just can't believe that we are even talking about this, to be totally honest. So I agree. I do think that, be a fan how you want to be a fan, but I do think that there's something to the fact that like people who have followed the team to this level and for this amount of time, that like, even though I feel all that way, I still don't feel like it's happening somehow. Like
here's the thing.
I can't associate it.
Here's the crazy thing. I would give my remaining pinky to win this World Series.
Right.
Like, I have one pinky left. I would literally give it away without even thinking about it to win this World Series.
Yeah, and that is fandom. Like that is what it's
in a nutshell.
Yeah, exactly.
And I am the nut in the shell.
Well put, sir. Well put.
Yeah, no, it's so great. It's been such a wild ride the last few weeks, and just seeing how happy everyone is. And like we've said before, if the Nationals get swept, I will not be any worse for the wear. Like before, I have had very depressive states after the Nationals have lost in the postseason. It's taken a while to get back out of it and get back into letting sports in my life again. But this year, I really, regardless of what happens, I am not concerned about, my love of sport going forward or my love of the Nats, because, if they go out and lose by 10 runs in 4 straight games, I'm still going to be as happy as I am right now, just for what this team has meant for the city, for the fans, for folks like the three of us who have suffered a long time to get to this point. It's surreal. It's fantastic. And I could not be happier.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment entirely. I've been telling many people that, like, not that I don't care what happens, but if the Nationals did get swept, it'd be like this would still be a fucking great year. I don't even care. Like I'm so excited to be part of all of it.
Yeah, just whatever small part we can fit in it in our friends' world and our lives and all that. And it's all the better because of friends like you.
Yeah. Agreed, fair listener. So with that, we do have a baseball game that's happening tomorrow. It's happening at Minute Maid Park in Houston. Garrett Cole will be facing Max Scherzer, but in a couple of days, somebody will be throwing out a first pitch at Nats Park ceremonially.
Ooh.
and I would like to know who y'all got.
Yo? Did we lose Yo?
I hope we didn't lose Yo. I didn't get a notification he's on the call still.
Is Johan muted?
Is he muted, or is he crying because of our wonderful speeches? One or the other. I'm guessing probably not that.
Okay. Well, in that vein, and since Johan has disappeared a little bit, I'll go. I really liked the tease that the Chief, Chad Cordero, gave earlier today.
Yeah, me too.
That he said he's 95% sure he's going to be around the park for the games. I doubt it's going to be just a Chad Cordero first pitch. I think that the team has listened and that it's going to be a 2005 early Nats, whatever you want to call it, throwing out the first pitch kind of deal, which would just be unreal, fantastic. So I'm hopeful that that's what it's going to be.
When I read that article that Sverluga wrote a couple days back, where he talked about just the idea of having the 2005 players in their positions, and like you said, like Ryan Church out in center field, and Guzman at short, and getting Vinny Castilla back, and all those guys. It would be such a cool idea. I love the idea of bringing the 2005 Nats in, and I agree. It's got to be some sort of. I don't think they'll be able to get all those guys back, but I just love the idea of like, Levo and Brian Schneider and the Chief and a bunch of guys just throwing first pitches to like a bunch of current Nats across the field would just be the coolest damn thing. Like, and just again, for people who have followed the team, it's such a special moment. Like that 2005 year was special in and of itself, right? The way that they
51 and 31 in the first
at the
half.
All-Star break, yeah,
and then 50 and 31 at the first half, and then 31 and 50 in the second half.
But even still, it would be such a cool, kind of capstone on what this season has meant to the team and its fans. And just even if you haven't read that Barry Sverluga article, you should definitely go and find it about the 2005 Nats and the way they followed it. But like, they went and interviewed Jamie Carroll, and Jamie Carroll was like, "Yeah, I've been following the team," and like. I think he was the one that like wore his Nats jersey to like one of his kids' events at some point during the stretch run.
Was it? Yeah, Jamie. I think it was it Jamie Carroll. I don't remember. Wore it to like a little league game so people would ask.
Yeah,
about
just
it,
like because he wanted to talk about like the current Nats because he'd been following them, like and about his run with the Nats back in 2005, and that's so cool to me. Like that is a big part of what we want from this team.
Man, Jamie Carroll was Steve Lombardozzi before it was cool.
Yeah, but also better, I think.
Much better.
Jamie Carroll was legit. Was a legit, very good journeyman.
Yeah. Man, what a.
Hey, Yo's back.
There's Johan.
Hey, I'm back. Yeah, I did mute myself on accident.
Nice.
Yep, I figured you did. I figured that was the thing that happened. I
didn't realize it was on my headset. Yeah, you did.
Nice.
I heard it.
Yep, you were there.
So who do you got for first
I was
pitch?
gonna say,
what the fuck? I'm here, guys. I'm here.
Yeah, I was definitely talking to myself for a little bit. I had Levo before you guys said it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like J-Dub or like Thomas Boswell or something like that.
I know J-Dub was scheduled to throw out the first pitch in Game 5 of the CS if it got there, which of course it didn't.
I think
because the Nationals swept the Cardinals.
I was just gonna say
in the NLCS.
It did give him the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I mean, I
maybe
like
Game 4.
Yeah,
did do all the 2005 stuff in Game 3, and then Game 4 J-Dub, and then Game 5 like a longtime fan or something.
Now I'm completely ignorant here to Senators history. I'm wondering. I know Frank Howard has threw a first pitch out, but I'm pretty sure he's dead now. But I'm wondering if there are any big like Senators players or anything like that from previous iterations of DC baseball that are still around.
Well, there's a lot.
I mean, I think it would be dope to see Phil Wood throw.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of people talking about.
I mean, a lot of people are calling for him.
Charlie Brotman too. People have been talking about having him show up and because he was the kind of the voice of the Senators back in the day, which would be cool, right? That would be a very cool experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
this has to.
The first game is definitely going to be some kind of historical Nats.
That's what I was going to say.
All-star team.
There's got to be a history thing there, that where, they will never ever do it, but it would also be cool if it was like a bunch of former Expos, like Pedro.
Give me
Vlad, Pedro, FP. Just like all like.
Like Rainey, yeah, dude.
Like that would be cool too.
Get Randy Johnson in
there.
there.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Gary Carter.
R.I.P.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're talking about this because this is going to be like the center of sports spectacle this week, guys. People will want to go to do this. Celebrities will want to go to do this because this is going to be the center of the sports universe for the next week.
Well, I mean, you see. And I had one of my most popular tweets in a while was about the Mystics, which amazing that some of my most popular tweets ever have been Katie Ledecky and the Mystics. Right on brand for me.
You have a brand.
That's right.
It was just about how the DC-based sports teams all support each other really well. And you saw NBA, I'm going to go ahead and call him superstar, Bradley Beal sign a 2-year extension with the Wizards, citing the Washington Nationals as a reason he wanted to stay.
Yeah.
Because
I didn't see that.
He said he saw what the Mystics have done. He's seeing what the Caps did last year, and he's seeing what the Nationals are doing this year, and he wants to be a part of it in this city with the Wizards.
So awesome.
So that's why he decided to sign an extension. So,
dude, that's just chills.
Yeah.
You saw Evgeny Kuznetsov at, was it the wild card game, maybe?
Yep.
Ovechkin was at a CS game. You've seen players all over the place come in and supporting the Nationals. Obviously, the Mystics and Elena Delle Donne back for Game 4 being honored on the field. But you're seeing DC-based sports figures coming out for the Nationals in droves. And there's a real camaraderie there and a real support. And I love seeing that. It's such a departure from years past. And it really seems like the Nationals have kind of been on the periphery of a little of that in the past. But now it's just full blown because I mean, part of it might be because they've embraced the multicultural nature of the team. DC is it's nicknamed the Chocolate City. Like it is not real DC is not politicians. So they don't look like me and Joe.
Yeah.
So
dude, they did Baby Shark at the Caps game.
I saw that.
They were there.
There were like 15 players in the box.
Yeah. And then they did Baby Shark after they introduced them, and everybody did Baby Shark in not Verizon, Cap One Arena. I still call it Verizon.
The player played Coma.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so it reminds me of when the Caps came to that Nats game right after they won the Cup, and it was like the least watched Nats game in the park like ever. Like everybody's just looking up at the box the entire time.
Yeah.
Well, and then
just go ham.
And then when Ovi came to the CS game and like he's hugging Zimmerman, and I'm like, oh god, you guys together, it's like so special.
Yeah, I love that point you made. Just the interconnectedness between all the DC teams has been growing.
Let's get Katie Ledecky out there to throw a first pitch again.
Dude, let's do it again, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. She's great. Yeah, she's great.
I mean, you know what they say about Katie Ledecky.
What is that? What do they say about Katie Ledecky? Oh no, you mean who? What do they say about Michael Phelps?
That's right. Michael Phelps is the Katie Ledecky of men's swimming.
That's right. That's right.
That's
your best ever, right?
Yeah, I think it got, I want to say about 4,000 retweets and 6,000 likes. And
it's crazy.
Dude, I'm already getting pumped. I'm already getting pumped for next year because it's an Olympic year and she's going to dominate again.
Dude, you just keep retweeting that, dude.
Just hashtag bump on that. Just bump on that all day long.
It's good.
I'm gonna just go to lunch on that tweet for the rest of my life. I mean, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Time Magazine called me a genius. Like that's an actual thing that happened.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
Watching sports with you guys is great. It's great. It's so great.
And hopefully, Jen hooked me up, so we're getting to do that tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your 3 Nats Talk on the Go hosts will be in the club.
Nice.
For the game, which will be nice because it's supposed to be nasty weather.
I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait. So, anybody have any big points before predictions? That's what I want to know.
I love you guys, and I love baseball, and I love the Washington Nationals. This has been my favorite team ever in DC, and this is going to be a fun ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we've been going, like we started the roller coaster at the wild card game, and it's been a steady incline
God, what a damn roller coaster that was.
Yeah, no kidding.
Up until last week, and I feel like we've been stuck at the top, about to go over the top for 6 days, and we can't see what's at the bottom, and we're hoping we don't just crash and burn, but there's another hill coming up. That's kind of how I felt for, like, I've just been going back and forth between, like, man, what if they win? Man, and what if they get swept? Man, what if they win though? But man, what if they get swept?
Or what? Oh man, what if it goes 7 games? Will my heart take it? I don't know if my heart will take it.
Like, I think, dude, Joe, I think what you're thinking about last series is going to happen this series. Like, every game, I feel like is just going to be, just soul crushing.
I think it is too.
Either way,
like it's going to be.
It's
going to hurt.
I don't think we're ready.
I gave blood today, and my blood pressure was much higher than normal.
Oh my gosh.
The woman was like, why is your blood pressure? And I was like, the Nationals are in the World Series, so it's been a little stressful. And she goes,
why do you think everybody else is here right now?
Yeah, she goes, oh, okay, I get it. I don't think she got it, but that's why. Like, I usually have really good blood pressure too.
Yeah,
definitely not anybody that follows the Nats past 3 weeks.
The sports stress is real.
And this is definitely going to be way worse than. Oh my God, it's going to be like the wild card game for 7.
Well, so that's kind of how I feel, right? Like the CS was so bizarre, and I feel like it made all Nats fans just kind of rest on their laurels from like stress level a little bit. Like it just felt so easy almost the whole way through that like this. Just want to put out there, this is not going to be like that. Just not going to be like this. I am. It's going to be something. So do you guys, you want to do predictions? Is that where we are?
Yes, we have to do predictions because we're journalists.
Yes, right. That is definitely what we do.
We're well respected.
All right. So I don't think.
Did I say that right?
Okay. Sure. We'll go with that.
I gave blood today. The drinks go down quicker.
So I don't think that I have been on the record first yet through this experience. So I'll put myself on the record first. I think the Nationals win the World Series in 6 games.
No!
Do you have the same thing?
No, Trugan! I do have the same thing. I have the exact same thing. It worked for me last year, so I'm sticking with it.
Oh my God. Well, you stole my thing now.
Did I really?
That's yours?
No, not your exact prediction, but your mindset.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, you've got Dodgers in 7 again.
Yeah, Dodgers. I mean, the Cardinals. Yeah.
You got Houston in 7?
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
So I just want to point out that I've got 2 thought processes here. I'm not a superstitious guy. However,
you are a little stitious.
I'm marginally stitious.
You're getting there.
And I really was going to do Houston in 6, was my first thought. And I was like, I cannot, at this point in the season, go that route. I fully believe the Nats magic at this point. I think that the way we look at this, I think that it's going to be a frustrating series in DC, but I think they win in Houston. I think they win the World Series this year.
Christ. That that's even a possibility is ridiculous.
Oh, it's so absurd. It's so absurd. But I'm here for it. I don't know if my liver is, but I am.
Whew.
Um,
Yep. So this is happening. Do we want to put a date on another podcast, or do we just want to leave it open ended?
so it'll be difficult for us to do something after game one because all three of
Yeah,
us
I-
will be at the game.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah, I would think off days.
I think
maybe.
I think if we keep the same cadence as we have for the most part, just try and record on
Yeah.
off days. How about that?
It's worked so far.
Yep.
Joe, what I will say though is that playoff runs like this create superstitious people.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. I've never felt superstitious in my life, and I'm sitting over here like, can I really pick Houston to win? I don't think I can do that. I don't think
I
I
have
can
not
do that.
touched. My hair is a goddamn nightmare right now. Like beard and top of head. I need a haircut desperately, and I refuse to even touch it.
Ugh.
Like, nope. And I've got my Soto jersey ready to go. It's been on the same chair it's been on every time. Has not been washed. Like,
Oh, so
I'm ready.
I've worn all three of my jerseys: my Scherzer, my Strauss, and my Dew, on winning days so far. Through the postseason. So tomorrow's supposed to be a red out at Nats Park, though, and so should I wear my Dew or do I wear my Schurz because it's Schurz Day? That's my question.
Is there a rotation? Have you
worn
done
it
a
on Thursday
consistent
before?
rotation?
Oh God, guys.
Yes.
So I wore Dew for Game 4 for the clinch game, and then I have my.
Did you wear?
I think I wore my Strauss first or my Schurz first. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I did.
But did you wear it when Scherz pitched?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Then you
That's
got to wear
it.
Yeah,
shirts.
it's my Blue National script jersey.
See,
God, it's such a
this
good
is why
jersey.
you made it hard for yourself.
Yeah, I did.
Craig and I don't have to guess.
I
on
didn't
what we're
pick a
gonna
routine,
do.
guys.
Nope.
I need you to help me. Help me, please.
Joe's gonna roll up in a black Soto Pacheco jersey with a backwards black Nats hat. Like,
Here we go.
I already know.
Here we go.
It's happening.
I love it. I love it.
Like, part of me is wondering if I need to wear shorts. Like, do you guys think I need to wear shorts?
Is it that serious?
I'm asking. This is a question. I'm asking.
You haven't worn shorts yet?
No, I've worn shorts every game, but it's gonna be fucking.
The other way around. Oh, true.
Yeah.
Nah, that's human safety.
Okay, cool. All right, good.
My other thing is though has been like I figured like I was like for the wild card game I was like I'm gonna try it's always red out. I'm like I'm not gonna wear red.
Nice.
3 and
Fucking
1.
the trends. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, then
And so the only red I wear is if they give me a towel,
I'm
which is probably gonna happen.
I'm not
That's
wearing
it.
red either, so we'll be one and the same, yo.
I haven't worn red yet this postseason. Not even like what I wear to school on game day.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll make sure. Whatever works, man.
Hey, it's
Just
Yeah.
work.
working so far.
It's not weird if it works.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the better MLB campaigns.
All right, so we're gonna be back with you on Thursday when the Nationals hold a 2-0 series lead.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, you asshole!
So basically, what you're saying, Craig, with our predictions is then
Right after we got done talking about that shit.
that also they're gonna lose 2 out of 3 at home.
No, I'm just being ridiculous.
Come
Calm
on.
down. Okay, so baseball is happening, and it's going to be wonderful, and we're all going to send a selfie out from the Nats Talk on the Go Twitter account tomorrow, and it's going to be wonderful.
Absolutely.
Let's go Nats.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's go win a World Series, shall we?
Man, fuck.
They win game. Dude, they win game 1. Oh my god,
Oh, it's gonna go
It's gonna be
insane.
on.
It's gonna go
I would
insane.
absolutely lose my mind.
I'll cry
Just like
after
last
every
year.
win.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I might just cry randomly for the next week and a half. I don't know. It's just
You know what?
I don't
That's
know.
fair.
How have we not been crying for the past
I
week?
know, right?
Who says I haven't?
Exactly.
It's on and off.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for listening to this World Series preview show of Nats Talk on the Go. We will get with you all a little bit later this week, and we will talk to you all soon.